Ladies and gentlemen, what a hell of a revelation with this story. It's kind of coming full circle. We're finally starting to get some answers. And with a lot of these stories, it takes us a little while to be able to get convictions, get evidence, get these people in front of the judges and courts and juries. And I'm thankful that we're finally starting to make progress in this case that started almost about 15 months ago. Now, I have done a couple of videos on this. You guys can always go and use the search bar on my channel to look for specific stories. We've talked about this. I think I posted maybe 4 videos on this story. So I'm proud to not only be a part of other people who have had their feet on the ground participating in this story in person out there in California. And I don't normally do this, but because I haven't interacted with this channel, but I do want to give a shout out. And some of y'all might appreciate this. AV Watchmen. Not only them, there were other people, but I do remember that they were very, very prevalent at the time out there actually doing investigation, doing interviews. But I do have to give that YouTube channel a shout out because I did see your work and I am definitely appreciative. But like I said, I normally don't speak on other channels unless we've either interacted or something like that. But I do got to give them a shout out because this was one story they did not let up on. There are so many people on Facebook who created groups that have tens of thousands of people in these Facebook groups. If you guys have not seen them, all you got to do is go to Facebook and look at the groups. And there are dozens of groups just on this story, talking about theories, talking about interviews, talking about body language, talking about grandparents, mothers, fathers, talking about everything related to this story. Let me also say thank you to the neighbors who went out there and did their own investigation, even though it might, you know, the police and FBI probably don't want you doing that. But I'm thankful that so many people went out there and they started looking. They never gave up, right? I also want to give a shout out to a couple other YouTube channels. Chris Thorns was on this quite a bit, to Kimberly Flower, also to Leave It to Bieber, and also a huge shout out to our friend and advocate, Make This Go Viral TV. Miss V, I have to give her a special shout out as well because she was on this from day one. This story occurred almost 15 months ago. Orrin and Orson West, these beautiful baby boys that you see on my screen, their adoptive parents told police that these boys had, quote unquote, disappeared. Always a red flag when these MFers talking about children just disappear, like David Copperfield came to your city and decided to do a magic trick on your house, right? Said the boys disappeared from the family's Southern California yard. Now, matter of fact, I don't know if it's going to say this, but let me remind you. They allegedly sent these boys out in the yard to go play, and then they just disappeared. That never sounded right to me. Their story was just bullcrap from the jump. Authorities say that the brothers were actually killed by their adoptive parents months before they were reported missing. Let me say that again. Months before they were reported missing. I'm getting this article from CNN.com, very reputable source, so thank you, CNN, for the article. Even though their bodies have not been found, and this is according to Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer, and they said this on Wednesday. Now, let's keep going. This morning, I am saddened to announce that the investigation has revealed that Orrin and Orson West are deceased. The investigation has also revealed that they died approximately 3 months, before their adoptive parents reported them missing. That is extremely significant. 3 months. However, I am pleased to announce that this week, the Kern County grand jury indicted Trezell, which you guys saw on the screen. Let me back it up like a U-Haul truck right there. Trezell and Jacqueline West, the adoptive parents, for the murder of Orrin and Orson West. So for those who also need a little bit further proof, I do have a screenshot of their booking information, so you guys can see. This is booking information on Jacqueline Gabriel West. Their court hearing was actually earlier today at 8 a.m. So you guys can see 2 of the charges murder in the second degree, willful cruelty to child, and also a misdemeanor of false report of an emergency. Let me get you guys the second screenshot. This is from Trezell Philip West. He also had the same court date and time. And his charges, I don't know if I have that here or not. I do have a couple of other articles, but let me see. Yeah, actually I do. Let me show y'all this. This is 2751. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This is going to be a little hard for y'all to see on the screen. It is further alleged that the defendant, Trezell West and Jacqueline West, committed a crime that involved great violence, threat of great bodily harm, or other acts disclosing a high degree of cruelty, viciousness, or callousness with the meaning of California rules of the court. Can't really see that. It's a little bit small. And it's further that the victim, Orrin West, was particularly vulnerable within the meaning of California rules of court, and it gives that definition as well. It is further alleged that the defendant, Trezell West and Jacqueline West, induced... Hold on, let me see if I can make this bigger. Hold on. I might be able to use this. Yes, I can. This will help y'all see this a little bit easier. How about that? So blow that up on the screen. A little bit easier. It is further alleged that defendant Trezell West and Jacqueline West induced others to participate in the commission of the crime or occupied a position of leadership or dominance of other participants in its commission within the meaning of California rules of court 4.421A4. It is further alleged that defendant Trezell West and Jacqueline West took advantage of a position of trust or confidence to commit the offense with the meaning of California rules, and it gives that. But anyway, it's a lot of documents in there. If you guys want to look that up, it is public records. You can find it and look it up. But let's keep going. Bakersville police arrested the California City couple around 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the district attorney said. Zimmer said both have been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder in connection with the deaths of Orrin and Orson West, 2 counts of child abuse with Orrin and Orson West as the victims, and 1 count of false report in an emergency because they called, said they were missing, gave this cockamamie-ass story, and they lied. So I'm thankful they need to start charging them with perjury as well. Get them for something as far as that lying. I don't like that. But let's keep going. And also, again, I don't know if you heard me shout you out earlier, but Make This Go Viral TV in the building. Again, thank you for following this story for all this time. Matter of fact, I think her group, if I'm not mistaken, her Facebook group was based on this story. Tell me if I'm right or wrong about that if you would. But I think I'm right about that. But if convicted of both counts of murder, each of the defendants could face 30 years to life in prison. She told reporters that she could not go into specifics of the case. So they might actually have more details than we know right now, which is because they feel pretty confident that they're going to get a murder conviction. CNN was not immediately able to determine whether the Wests have legal representation. The couple will be arraigned on Thursday, Zimmer said. The Wests have 2 other adopted children. Let me say that again. 2 other adopted children and 2 biological children. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits? I use that terminology and we created that here at the AFC as a hashtag because I believe that there are too many people out here that only obtain children like this, especially in the foster care system, or have children because they're trying to benefit off of the backs of those children because they believe they can either get money, they can get something off of these children, which is why we say hashtag babies for benefits. So 2 other adopted children and 2 biological children, all of whom who are in protective custody, protective services custody. So how this case unfolded. Let me make sure I got this thing looping. I think I do. Let me see. Should be good. Okay, let's keep going. Now, on December 21st of 2020, Trezell and Jacqueline West told California City Police that Orrin, then 4 years old, and Orson, then 3 years old, had disappeared from the family's backyard. Police and volunteers from the community searched, but to no avail. In the early days of the search, Trezell and Jacqueline West spoke to reporters and asked for the public's help in finding the boys. Trezell West said he was moving firewood as his wife was wrapping Christmas presents inside the house and the boys played outside. I want you guys to keep in mind, only 2 of the children disappeared. Okay? I came to my house. I saw them there. Go in the house. I came back out and I didn't see them, Trezell West said at the time. I realized that I had left the gate open and I panicked. I came inside the house and searched the house, me and my wife. Trezell West said he got in his van to search for the boys. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark and getting cold. He said when he couldn't find the boys, he came home and told his wife they needed to call the police. Now, during the December 20th, 2020 briefing, a reporter said that the boy's biological mother thinks that the couple was involved. And let me tell you guys this. Don't feel bad for the biological mother. Matter of fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, I can go back in my other videos. I think she put up GoFundMe pages, or somebody did on her behalf. GoFundMe pages, and they never even found, still to this day, have never found the bodies of these kids. So y'all can go back in my videos and watch that. I'm not going to talk too much about that. But the biological mother had lost custody of her boys from the jump. She had multiple kids outside of wedlock. So the biological mother is definitely no victim in this story. So I want to make sure I get that out there and make sure I'm very, very clear. That's understandable. I would think the same thing Trezell West said. He encouraged the public to call the police with any information. Several law enforcement agencies worked diligently, hundreds of hours in the next 12 months looking for the boys. The district attorney declined to detail the information that led authorities to believe the adoptive parents killed the boys in September 2020, about 3 months before they were even reported missing. So anyway, they just continue to say that they can't go into the details. The boys' bodies have not been found. Can you guys type that in the chat for me? Because I want to make sure that everybody hears me say that. The bodies have not been found. The boys have not been found. The boys' original names are Sincere and Classic. Thank you, make this go viral. The boys' original names were Classic and Sincere. I almost forgot about that. So this was not their original biological names. Zimmerman acknowledged some people may be confused as to how anybody can be charged with murder when there's nobody found. The fact that law enforcement have not found their bodies does not preclude a murder prosecution, the district attorney said. She said there have been other nobody cases that have led to murder convictions across the country, including at least 2 such cases in Kern County. Rosanna Wills, the boy's biological cousin, said that she was devastated by the news that authorities believe Orrin and Orson are dead. Now it's time to start grieving, Willis told the CNN affiliate KBAK after the district attorney's announcement. So I think I can skip some of that because we got a lot more to talk about. Let me go ahead and show you guys a couple of news videos. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's go ahead and get started. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Now, a very simple thing that you guys can do if you want to help share this story, if you guys would, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share this story and more people will see it. More people will know that we're here so they can also come and comment, leave their thoughts and whatever it is that they want to say. Okay, so please click that thumb up. We want to have one thumb up for every person that is watching. Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
The Kern County grand jury indicted Trezell and Jacqueline West.
We have 2 small boys that we believe are no longer here that are dead.
It's the murder of 2 innocent children.
For the murder of Orrin and Orson West.
And there will not be a resolution until these boys are brought home.
There will be justice for Orrin and Orson.
A good Wednesday evening to you, and thanks for being with us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Tammy Melchak.
And I'm Jim Scott. Thanks for stopping in this hour. New developments tonight in a story we broke last night on 17 News at 5. The arrest of the adoptive parents of Orrin and Orson West. The 2 little boys first reported missing from their home in California City back on December 21st of 2020. Many of the missing pieces in this case started to fall in place over the last 24 hours, and today the Kern County District Attorney revealed.
Now, just with full disclosure, and thank you for posting that in the chat, I believe that they do have evidence. I believe they do have evidence. They just haven't told us yet. I'm sure there's a reason why they haven't said that yet, even though it would be nice if they did. But yes, I agree with you in the chat. This is live, so you guys can type your comments in there. I also believe that they have evidence.
New details in the murder indictment handed down yesterday, along with the news we had all feared would be coming.
17's Christian Galeno joins us live outside the Kern County DA's office with the shocking revelations. Christian?
Jim and Tammy, well, the fact that knowing that little Orrin and Orson West are actually dead is tugging at the heartstrings of many in the community, and it's that exact same community that prayed and searched for months for the 2 missing brothers. Tonight, they're directing their anger towards adoptive parents Jacqueline and Trezell West.
14 months ago, Jacqueline and Trezell West stood in front of their California City home and pleaded with the community to help search for their missing adopted boys.
And that's all I want is to find a baby. You understand? And I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names.
Comfort hearts now in the name of Jesus.
For more than a year, the community prayed the boys would return home. They searched and raised reward money. Little did they know authorities had already uncovered a huge piece of the case.
The investigation has revealed that Orrin and Orson West are deceased. The investigation has also revealed that they died 3 months before their adoptive parents reported them missing.
So I want y'all to think about this. Yes, make this go viral. Said liars. 3 months. They were dead 3 months prior. So that means they had to have concocted this story, called up the police, the news people came out, they did an interview. These boys been dead. And I also want y'all to think about this. 3 months is very, very specific. That's very specific. And they didn't say we think they're dead. They say we know that they are dead. That means they absolutely have evidence. And to be honest with y'all, let me be honest with y'all real quick. I'm not so sure that I want to know what that evidence is. Do y'all want to know? I'm thinking it's probably pictures or video. Pictures of video, and those babies' bodies have just been discarded or hidden. And these buttheads, I want to curse, but I'm trying to keep my monetization on the channel. But these 2 jerk-offs are hiding them bodies, discarded those bodies, and won't tell anybody anything. I don't know if you heard me shout you out earlier, Kimberly Flower, but I want y'all to remember that Kimberly Flower is also a YouTuber. Very, very big channel. Y'all make sure and go support her. But I also thank her for participating in stories like this. Make this go viral. Leave it to Bieber, Chris Thorns, all of you guys. So appreciative that us YouTube community, we can support each other, right? I can't believe nobody noticed that they were missing. You know what? I think some of the neighbors came out and spoke on that they did notice that something was wrong. But I don't know. 3 months is just wild. But let's keep going.
This is not the outcome that we and so many had hoped and prayed for over the last year. This is not a resolution in this case. And there will not be a resolution completely in this case until these boys are brought home.
In the past 24 hours, several charges were filed and both parents were arrested. Hours before that arrest, Trezell West was tracked down by 17 News at a post office in Edison. Witnesses report seeing him take off in an RV that was found Tuesday evening about 17 miles west of Bakersfield. That is where the arrest took place. For more than a year, worried people all over the country have asked, where are the boys? Now, a different question.
The question is now, where are the boys' bodies? We want to be able to bring them home and give them a proper burial.
Have the bodies of Orrin and Orson been found? And the answer to that is no.
Many more questions still remain.
Yes.
Are these the only arrests that are going to be taking place in this case? Is there plans to...
And you also got to think about this. That means they also had a 3-month head start on the investigation. Now, with the fact that he has access to an RV and moving around and all of that stuff, can y'all think about that? How much hiding could they do in 3 months? 90 days. They had a 90-day head start. What could they have done? Could have burned the body. Could have threw the body in the ocean, in a river. Could have sold the kids off somewhere. There's a lot that they could have done just in 90 days. They had a 90-day head start. I'm going to stop pausing the video, but I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Bring in anybody else or to arrest anybody else involved in this?
If I had those plans, I probably wouldn't tell you, but I can't tell you anyway. It's a good question. I don't mean to be trite, but I'm not going to comment on that.
It's painful for the family. You know, these are kids that didn't even have a chance in this world. So I'm just, I don't know.
The little to no words that the biological family are left with are sending a strong message to Jacqueline and Trezell.
Do the right thing. If y'all couldn't do the right thing before, do the right thing now and tell us where they are.
Now, that news does come with much heartbreak for the biological family, and they've informed us within the last hour that they've decided to organize a last-minute candlelight vigil tonight at 6 o'clock at the Liberty Bell in downtown Bakersfield. We will be there bringing you live coverage as well during our 6 o'clock hour, so make sure you tune in as well. For now, reporting live in downtown Bakersfield, Christian Galeno.
I do have a collective of videos. I think each one of these videos is going to tell a little bit of a different story. But it's not going to take too long. I think I have maybe about 8 more minutes of videos. And I think we can watch through them just to make sure that we hear as much information as possible together. Let's keep going.
We begin our team coverage tonight of the West boys' disappearance with the new details unveiled by the Kern County District Attorney. Today we learned the 2 West boys, Orrin and Orson, were first reported missing in December 2020, are believed to be dead now. We're also learning that the timeline of them missing is not what was originally reported. Last night, the Bakersfield police arrested the adoptive parents around 7 p.m. off Highway 58 in Enos Lane. They are currently being held without bail in the Kern County Jail after being indicted by a grand jury. 23 ABC's Vanya Patina was at the press conference where the district attorney gave an update on the case. She begins our team coverage tonight. Vanya.
Brianna, this case has tugged at the heartstrings of the entire community from when this all began 14 months ago. And now what many feared has been confirmed. The district attorney saying the investigation found the boys had been dead for 3 months before the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, reported them missing.
We now realize that the search for the boys began after the real tragedy had already occurred.
Bakersfield Police Department Chief of Police Greg Terry adding this is not the outcome they wanted. Meanwhile, Kern County...
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the volume as we go, so hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. For those who are sending in super chats, I want to say thank you. I know I'm not shouting them out every time they come in, But thank you, Mookie Lolo, popping up. Thank you also, let me see, Shryden and a couple other people here. Like I say, I know I don't, Cassandra, thank you, Cassandra. But I will say something about them. I will shout you out here after we finish the story. But let's keep going. I did want to make sure and acknowledge you guys. Here we go.
County District Attorney Cynthia Simmer announcing Wednesday they believe the two toddlers died back in September.
3 months before their adoptive parents reported them missing.
She adds a grand jury trial began last December, a year into their disappearance, where more than 50 witnesses testified.
The Kern County grand jury indicted Trezell and Jacqueline West, the adoptive parents, for the murder of Orrin and Orson West.
In total, both adoptive parents were arrested on 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of cruelty to child, 1 for each kid, and a false report of emergency.
Naturally, the first 2 counts carry the most time in state prison, murder. It is charged as murder in the second degree. That carries 15 years to life, but with 2 victims, the potential penalty, or the maximum possible penalty, if convicted, is 30 years to life.
The court documents show that Trezell and Jacqueline West committed a crime that, quote, involved great violence, threat of great bodily harm, or other acts disclosing a high degree of cruelty, viciousness, or callousness with the meaning of California rule of court, end quote. But since the beginning of this case, the community has asked the question, where are the boys? And that question is still unanswered.
Is no. They have not been found. However, I would like to emphasize that the fact that law enforcement have not found their bodies does not preclude a murder prosecution.
Simmer adds there have been many so-called no-body homicides successfully prosecuted, including in Kern County. The 5th count talks about the falsely reporting of an emergency. During the initial covering of this case, we did hear from the adoptive parents when we asked them for their response to being accused of the boys' disappearance.
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly.
And again, I want you guys to take a look at his body language. Anytime that they show these videos with his arms folded and he spent a lot of time with his eyes looking downward, that is body language to show that somebody is either deflecting, hiding something, or lying. In general, doesn't mean all, doesn't mean every time, but just throwing it out there. That is very, very negative body language.
The point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies.
Now that officials believe the boys died 3 months before they were reported missing, the question of if they were ever in California City remains.
And that's something we're going to answer during the trial.
See, they do know. She said that's something they're going to answer during the trial. They do have answers. Man, to be honest, I really wish like the trial will be like now, like next week, so we can get these answers. I am really, really curious to know what happened. Where are the boys? The fact that they don't have the bodies, that's a little bit disconcerting, but I do want to know what actually happened to them.
With breaking and gut-wrenching news in the case of those 2 little California City boys now missing more than 13 months. Trezell West, the adoptive father of those 2 boys, has just been indicted on 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of child cruelty and the
self-soothing and hugging yourself. Yep. That's what that body language is called. Or how did he have his arms folded? Some weird way he had his arms folded. But yes, thank you for that, Kimberly. Very true.
False report of an emergency. With these arrests and charges comes official confirmation of the worst fears of thousands of people who have been hoping and praying for Orson and Orrin West, just 3 and 4 years old when they disappeared at Christmas time from their home in California City in 2020. The indictment came late this afternoon. As of right now, West is not in custody. There are no charges filed against Jacqueline West, Trezell West's wife and the adoptive mother of the missing boys. Here are some notes that we have gathered today. The boys, again, Orson and Orrin West, they were 3 and 4 years old when they were reported missing. They would be 4 and 5 years old now. The boys first were reported missing at about 5:45 p.m. December 21st of 2020. The boys' adoptive parents are Trezell Philip West, and 35 years of age, and Jacqueline Gabriel Vasquez West, 32. The adoptive parents told reporters they were with Orrin and Orson at the family home in California City on that chilly winter afternoon. It was Monday, 4 days before Christmas. Jacqueline West said she was wrapping presents. Trezell said he was building a fire in the home's fireplace. The parents said Orson and Orrin were on the back patio drawing with chalk. Trezell West said he accidentally left the backyard gate open when he stepped outside of the yard to gather firewood. The West said the boys must have slipped out of the yard through the open gate. It was just before 5 p.m. in the evening. Trezell said he immediately realized the boys were gone. He said he searched the house's large backyard for them. He said he and his wife searched the house, and said he got in the family van and started searching the neighborhood, calling their names and asking neighbors if they had seen the boys. The darkness fell. Trezell told reporters he realized he needed help. The West called police within hours. Dozens of officers and volunteers were searching that neighborhood, scouring the desert, and repeating the question that has become a mantra in California City and far beyond.
Where are the boys? All right, 2 more videos.
All right, Christian, thank you. Now, as news of the arrest spread across Kern County today, reaction was swift in California City, just doors away from the West family home. 17's Marco Torres went to the neighborhood to speak with neighbors about this tragedy.
California City is one step closer to getting closure on the alleged murder of Orson and Orrin West. I spent the day talking with neighbors of the adoptive parents now accused of killing the boys. In less than 24 hours, word spread across the county of the indictment accusing Orrin and Orson West's adopted parents of murder. The news reaching neighbors from the home the boys supposedly lived at in California City. District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer said the boys were murdered 3 months before they were reported missing. That would mean they may have died before the Wests moved to California City. That doesn't surprise some neighbors, though.
I'm hurt. The children been dead way before they was, pronounced missing. That truly is sad, bro. That's sad, and then people get what they deserve. All day rot in hell. They deserve that.
The next-door neighbor said Trezell and Jacqueline kept him.
I'm sorry, I want to hear that man say that again. I want to hear him say that again. That was very powerful.
Surprised some neighbors, though.
I'm hurt. The children been dead way before they was, pronounced missing. That truly is sad, bro. That's sad, and then people get what they deserve. All day rot in hell. They deserve that.
The next-door neighbor said Trezell and Jacqueline kept to themselves. Now all the neighbors say the couple acted secretively. One neighbor who regularly walks in the neighborhood for exercise says the Wests only ever went out at night. The neighbor also says the Wests parked their large white RV in front of their garage, so it was difficult to see people coming and going from the house.
That was a tragedy for all of us. For all of us, even that most people here, they never seen the kids. They didn't know the kids.
All the neighbors I spoke with say they've never actually seen the boys. Some of them even saying that they think the boys have never even made it into the city. Now, as records become more public, we'll be sure to update you on our website at kget.com.
But again, they have evidence that the boys were murdered, so I'm sure whatever information comes out, we'll find out all of that as far as maybe even a location where they believe they were murdered, where they disappeared from, or if they even made it to California City. This is just insane. Like, I don't understand what would possess you to take these children into your household. You didn't have to take them at all. You could have just left them the hell alone. Jacqueline and Trezell, like, you could have just left them alone. You could have just raised your own 2 kids if that was too much. But they had 4 foster children plus their own 6 kids between 2 adults. It's hard enough for 2 adults to raise 1 kid, right? How many of y'all out there agree with me? How many parents are out there listening right now? Because I know me and my daughter's mom, we can attest to that. It's difficult enough for us to try to focus on 1 kid, let alone more than 1. especially when you don't have a DNA tie to these other children, which I believe that's why I always say that children shouldn't end up in the system. They shouldn't end up with CPS. They shouldn't end up in foster homes because the mothers and fathers should not be failing these children. Yes? They shouldn't be failing these children from the jump. So when people want to say that there's a failure on CPS and all of that stuff, when they say that about a lot of these stories, here's what I always try to reiterate. We can say it's a failure, and yes, a lot of times if they are put in place to do a job, if they fail that job, yes, they need to be admonished. But the children should not get to that point. Talk about an end-all, fix-all. Kids shouldn't get to that point. Kids shouldn't be taken out of the house. Kids shouldn't be abused. Family and parents should not be failing their children. You can't just sit there and just hope for the benevolence of strangers. That's not cool. You're hoping that somebody out there has a big enough heart to take care of your responsibilities, right? Isn't that the same thing that I talk about with all of these GoFundMes that pop up? Even the biological mother in this story, if y'all don't know, I think I have screenshots of it, especially in my other videos, that the biological mother came out and put up GoFundMes expecting to get support when she lost custody of her kids. I think she lost more than custody of Orrin and Orson. I think she also lost custody of her other kids also. But I have to go back and rewatch that video. Put up a GoFundMe, and the whole thing about GoFundMe, it's supposed to be there for a reason for us to fund things, to do things in life, not to fund death, and not for people to profit off of dead children. That's not cool. They don't even have the bodies of these kids, so you can't even have a funeral. So what the hell did anybody donate to the biological mother for? She was irresponsible. She failed the kids, lost custody of the kids, didn't have custody of the kids for a long time. It was a long amount of time. But you're going to give money to her to do what? Can't have a funeral. You could just gonna give her money to just feel better. But that all that does is embolden people to keep doing this thing. That's why we continue to keep having cases. You have 2 cases in California City, right? But that's why this is why my channel even exists as it is, because this thing continues to keep happening. I could do 10 stories a day and never run out of stories. That's a freaking shame. I can't even keep up with how many stories that I do. For every story that y'all see me talk about on my channel, there's at least 10 to 15 emails that I had to ignore. I just don't have time. I can't do this full time. I can't talk about this and educate full time just because I literally don't have time in my personal life. But I do dedicate all my free time to it. I will do that. But that's how many stories. You could put all of us YouTubers together and we couldn't cover all of these stories. So we have to start putting the onus and responsibility back on biological mother, biological father, and the family unit.
In other news, 2 parents have now been charged with the murders of a case of their missing adopted sons in the Antelope Valley. In December of 2020, Trezell and Jacqueline West told investigators 4-year-old Orrin and 3-year-old Orson disappeared from their backyard. After an extensive investigation, today the Kern County District Attorney revealed the boys have been declared dead and actually died 3 months before they were even reported missing.
This is not the outcome that we and so many had hoped and prayed for over the last year. We now realize that the search for the boys began after the real tragedy had already occurred. And there will not be a resolution completely in this case until these boys are brought home.
The parents are facing second-degree murder and child abuse charges. Both are expected to appear in court tomorrow. The boys' bodies have not been found.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, now, again, I want to go back and re-show this screenshot and why this thing is so prevalent in my mind. Because whenever I think about this story, this is the first. Let me clip it out just a little bit. Let me clip something off the top. Take a little bit off the top. Let's take a little bit off the bottom. Whenever I think about this story, whenever I think about Amari Nicholson, whenever I think about Orrin and Orson West, I think about this right there. I want you guys to remember this. For those who are listening, if you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up. We want to have one thumb up for everybody that's watching. That's actually how we help share these stories. So if you're listening, if you haven't clicked that thumbs up, please click that thumbs up. Help us out. We want to try to get as many thumbs up as we can to just simply share the story, because a lot of people might not even have heard of this until today. It just depends. I want you guys to also understand that I'm not a newscaster at all. I'm not here to be professional, but I'm just a concerned father, because I see this thing happen to so many kids, so many girls, so many boys. And I can't help but think, I'm just like, you could have just lived your life by yourself, or you and your wife could have lived your life by yourself. Why did y'all have to go mess with these boys? Just leave them in the system. Leave them the hell alone. Hashtag stop killing our children. Thank you. This was absolutely unnecessary and senseless. And I'm going to tell you, I'm even more worried about what the hell really happened and what's going to come out in court. These boys were missing, or excuse me, they were presumed dead and murdered 3 months before they even called 911. 3 months, 90 days. That's a whole lot of time to get rid of evidence and hide stuff. His body language, what'd you say? Self-soothing. Thank you, Kimberly. Self-soothing, hugging yourself, blocking energy, arms folded, eyes looking down, no focus. Now, granted, they're going to use COVID as the reason to have these masks on, but keep in mind they were outside. I think that's also a mechanism of them trying to hide their facial expressions as well. But if you look at his face, can I make this bigger? Do y'all mind if I take a moment to make this bigger on my screen? Because he is a big dummy. He's a big idiot. Can y'all see the guilt in his eyes? That's not sadness. That looks like guilt. Tell me, am I wrong? When you look at this picture, that looks like guilt in his eyes. That looks like, I done messed up. That's what I see in his eyes. But nonetheless, this is them in court. We're going to have more court dates coming up. Now, of course, this story, because people are turning that fire back up on the stove, I believe that that they're probably going to start following this every time that they end up in court. So when we get more of a major update, especially for the details, we're going to probably update this again, and then we're going to update it one more time when we get the actual sentencing. If you ask me, I think 30 years, if they do the whole 30 years, I don't know if they're going to do the 30 years or if they're going to have to do 80% of their time. You don't have a body. I guess you can't prove a lot of what damage occurred to the kids to a certain extent. Unless they got it on video, then that'd be something completely different. 25, 30 years. Do y'all think that's about right? It's not going to bring these boys back, but I think that would give us some justice to convict them, because initially we weren't even thinking we're going to get this far. I think 30 years is probably going to be sufficient. You give them any more or less time, I think this is justice. I'd never believed that they cared about these boys, these kids. I'd never believed that they wanted to help foster kids. I literally think that they did it just to get a freaking check. Get a check out of the system, and there are too many people that are not being checked properly. They're not being checked properly. How many times have we done stories where CPS closed a investigation case where somebody saw something, said something, called in, and they just flat out closed the case? There was a story that I did just a couple nights ago where CPS was called out 2 different times. They didn't actually see the kids in person and report it. Yep, they're good, and then close the case twice. Come to find out, the kids were dead. As far as you getting paid for a very serious job, if you don't want to do the job, don't apply for the freaking job. If you're that overworked and you know the system is overworked, then you need to understand what you're getting into. But us as parents, what we got to stop doing, where this all spawns from at the end of the day, where this all spawns from is us having sex irresponsibly and us having sex with no plan for these children. No plan in place. We don't have a savings when we have children. We don't have life insurance when we have children. We don't have a stable home, a house for these children. Stable employment, a stable mindset, a stable relationship. How about that? Ooh. We don't even have a stable frame of mind to have kids. They don't force them to go through parenting classes before you can become a parent. You don't have to have a license to become a parent. You can literally just be the crappiest person on God's green earth and have kids and put your bullcrap onto these kids. Yes? And then what does that breed? That's not going to allow the children to grow up and become something great. Those children are going to turn around and they're going to grow up broken. And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to break your daughters. They're going to break your sons. They're going to break into your homes. They're going to break your society. They're going to break your prison system, which is already too freaking full. This is a horrible cycle, and I'm thankful again for those who are listening, because y'all are actually helping us solve this epidemic, this real pandemic. This is the problem. Our children need a voice. They need to be advocated for. They need to be saved. They need to be protected. We are the AFC, and we advocate for children first. I thank you guys so much who are able to listen with an open mind as well as an open heart. I'm thankful that we got such a huge revelation in this story. But we got 2 more times to report what actually happened to them and then the sentencing. Then we can more or less get closure for the most part. But thank you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We will talk about more stories, so make sure you guys tune in. Check the community tab if you guys ever want to know if we're going to do more stories. We try to do live streams as many times as we possibly can when we have time to try to get justice for these kids, okay? Thank you. Ginger Reed, love you all. Y'all have a great day. Show our sponsors some love. You have a great night. Peace.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace. Let me say this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a newscaster. This is not a news station. Hold on real quick. I needed to say this real quick. So they called me B. It just came in. I just got it. But I got yours. I refreshed this a couple times. I don't know what happened. And let me make sure I can say your name. Terry Holmes. I got yours and I got Brandy just now. So I do apologize about that. I do want to say thank you. Thank you. So they call me B. If you're still in the building, let me know. Want to make sure and tell you thank you. But thank you guys so much. And y'all have a good night. And I appreciate the love and support. Man, you guys are awesome, man. Y'all have a great night. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a newscaster. This is not a news station. I am not here to deliver the news. I'm not here to be gentle, giving my commentary. I am not here to be on any race of people's side. I do not hate my own skin color, nor my daughter's mother. I do not hate my parents, nor where I came from. The goal of my platform is to bring awareness to the murder and abuse of children. I want to encourage more people to dedicate their time, energy, and focus onto the children. I want to encourage people to change their behavior, and I give many examples of why they should change their behavior. We have already saved many lives, and I believe that we can save a lot more lives with the support of our AFC platform. So please, don't get lost in how I convey a message. Just get the message. All right, this is your boy DJ Just J. Signing off. Holla at me.